Okay, good evening. Thank you all for being here. We'll go ahead and get this meeting called to order with roll call, please.
Billy King.
Here.
Bill Lowe.
Here.
Kim York.
Here.
Paul Kaufman.
Here.
Ruth Johnson.
Here.
Deanna Olson.
Here.
Aaron Hallett.
Here.
Okay, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With our mission statement being preparing each student for successful and meaningful life, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. On to recognitions with Dr. Schlegel and Mrs. Olson.
Yes, as Mrs. Olson comes to the front, we have several
Up there.
recognitions tonight for the board to honor. Here you go, Deanna. Yes, they're secret. You know, we have several tonight to recognize tonight. I'd like to welcome and ask Christy Schumacher to come to the front, please. Right through here. Front and center, that's right. Our first recognition is for an organization that has implemented many activities to support our youth and our staff over the years. Ray-Pec formed more than 3 years ago, and its mission is rooted in the need to come together as a community to serve our youth and to remind them they are loved, cared for, supported, and heard. The growth of the movement was truly a grassroots effort, which began when a few parents and community members joined together to post positive notes on student lockers following the death of a student. Since that time, the organization has grown in numbers and in scope. The activities include everything from positive online messages, handwritten yard signs, concerts, T-shirts, chalking the walk, and gifts for staff. Ray-Pec also organizes the Mad Dash event. MAD stands for Make a Difference. Before the pandemic, Ray-Pec regularly planned and hosted Refuge Night, an opportunity for middle school students to come together for games, food, and fun. Ray-Pec volunteers also greeted students once a month as they entered the school buildings. I believe we're starting that again soon. Very exciting, yes. And would distribute items like stickers, fun messages, and highlighters. They plan to resume these activities in the future. Here tonight to represent Ray-Pec is Christy Schumacher, a parent volunteer, community volunteer, and board member for the Ray-Pec Public Schools Foundation. Christy has been involved in Ray-Pec since its inception. Christy, on behalf of the Board of Education, thank you for representing Ray-Pec. Your personal investment into the group has been a source of inspiration to so many staff and students alike. Thank you. Congratulations. Our next recognition, I'd like to invite Kanan Huff to the front, please. Kanan. Kanan recently placed third at the Missouri Class 4 state wrestling tournament for the 160-pound weight class. Kanan is a four-time state qualifier. He placed fourth in the state his freshman year and third this year. His overall record for 4 years is 159-32 with 114 pins. This is either fourth or fifth in school wrestling history. Twice he has received the Academic All-State Award. He was named first team All-Conference and Conference Tournament Champion. After graduation, Kanan plans to attend Missouri State University, go Bears, to study finance. His parents are Brian and Katie Huff with us tonight. Katie is a teacher at the high school. Kanan, congratulations. Now, board, tomorrow in my message to parents, we're going to talk about it being Music in Our Schools Month. And tonight we're here to honor two exceptional students with vocal music talent. I'd like to invite Amari Russell and Kennedy Johnson to the front, please. Amari is a 7th grader and Kennedy is an 8th grader. Both students attend South Middle School. Amari was recently accepted to the Conservatory Bridges program at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Kennedy was accepted into the program last summer. This is a program that students must audition for. Once accepted, the program provides young performing arts students with intensive one-on-one instruction and performance experience to help prepare them for auditions into selective university programs. The scholarship provides each student with a weekly voice lesson from conservatory faculty who will consult with their South Middle School teacher, who is also here tonight, Miss Leslie Waltz. Miss Waltz, there. In addition to the lessons, the scholarship also provides students with a $100 annual budget for music and materials and a pianist for the required solo performances and rehearsals. The students may remain in the program through high school if they continue to meet program requirements. Since its founding in 2007, the Musical Bridges program has taught more than 200 students in Kansas City area school districts. I'd also like to recognize parents and family members here this evening. If you give a wave and a shout, there you go. And also, Principal of South Middle School, Dr. Randolph. Students, congratulations. All right, board. In addition to this month being Music in Our Schools Month, it is also Board of Education Appreciation Month. And this is a special time each year when we recognize our Board of Education members. Last week was official Board of Education Recognition Week in Missouri, but here in Ray-Pec we've made a whole month out of it. How about that? Our community benefits every day from the dedicated energies and countless hours devoted by you, our board members. These public servants are elected by the local constituents and do not receive compensation for their efforts. We join others across the state in honoring your dedicated service and recognizing your important contributions. You play a vital role, a very vital role, in the education of our kids. As part of recognizing your contribution to our students have some gifts for you tonight. Memos of appreciation. The first we want to do is to share a video that was created for you on behalf of our early learners at Shaw Early Learning Center. Another piece of appreciation that comes from our elementary schools is at your table tonight. Each school adopted a board member and created artwork that expressed their gratitude to you for leading our district. In addition, East Middle School provided us with a thank you poster signed by several students for you. I hope that when you look back at your board service someday, you will know that you have led this district well through some tumultuous times, through times that education has never ever faced before, and you drug a young superintendent along with it. And I can't tell you how much that support has meant to us, the students, the staff, and this community for your leadership. So thank you very much, board. This is the time when we transition to another portion of our agenda, which would also be a good time if you don't want to stay for the business portion of this meeting. It would be a good time to head for the door. So thank you for being here tonight, students. Congratulations. Thank you.
Who was that young superintendent?
I thought it was another one.
Yeah. Now, board, be nice. We'll do that.
All right, we will move along now. Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. On to public comments.
No comments tonight.
Thank you. on to action items. The 2022-23 salary schedules and employee benefits with Dr. Hatfield. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Each year I bring to you a new set of salary schedules based upon recommendations that the Team Ray-Pec has made to the board. Last week at the work session, you worked through some of these suggestions, and tonight I have the salary schedules prepared for you to vote on. Overall, Team Ray-Pec recommended that the board put as much money as possible into the salary schedule this year, as well as continue to pay for board health insurance and dental. That includes step increases for staff as well as lateral moves on the salary schedule, which is an expenditure to the budget of approximately $1.5 million. Additionally, a $300 increase to the base was recommended and is reflected in these salary schedules. The step increases and included with the lateral movements and the $300 represents a 2.5% increase to salaries. This year, unfortunately, our health insurance did see an increase of about 10.1%. That is a cost of $582,000. So that represents a 1.3% increase to our compensation package for an overall increase of 3.8% this year. We are asking you to approve these increases with the salary schedules this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, is there a motion to approve the salary schedules and employee benefits for the 22-23 school year?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for all the great discussion at our work session last week when we talked extensively about all these things. All right, on to the ninth grade center guaranteed maximum price. Dr. Pettengill, good evening.
Good evening. Very exciting things. As you may recall, the board has approved 4 amendments in the past, 2 for the lead center and 2 partials for the ninth grade center. At this time is the bigger component of the ninth grade center that kind of wraps all of the scopes together minus the roundabout, the Highway 58 improvements that we're looking at. You'll have that for consideration at a later date. But this is a bit, excuse me. So we worked with J.E. Dunn as our construction manager and our architect HDK. Bids were solicited for 32 scopes of work to actually build our ninth grade center. 126 bids were submitted for the 32 scopes. Each bid was vetted to determine the lowest and responsible selection, and the total for all bids and associated costs has a guaranteed maximum price of $25,832,973, which was actually under our original estimates. So that was a change from some of the other bids that we've seen come in, so that's exciting and a good trend. But I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have.
When you were going through and selecting HTK and J.E. Dunn had insight onto these of people they've worked with or
Right.
kind of areas of expertise, because there's a lot of things.
There is, and we work closely with J.E. Dunn on that. They are the ones that actually hold the bids. As part of our agreement with them, all bids are opened on our campus because we want them to make sure they're public openings. And then Scott, myself, the whole team sits down and talks about pros and cons of each one. We don't pick the lowest on every single scope, although usually on a job this size, the bidders are come to the table very qualified. If they weren't, it's usually because after discussing to make sure they didn't miss anything, they said, "Oh my goodness, I'm $100,000 low because I missed this part of the scope." So at that point, we would allow them to pull their bid. But to be honest, we're very happy with the bid selection and the vendors chosen. Good question.
When is the date to get started on that?
There was dirt moving this afternoon. So we had machines arrive on Monday, and already this week, they've already started moving some dirt. And Scott and his team were out putting up a tent this afternoon to make sure that we are somewhat dry in the morning for groundbreaking. We had a beautiful week, and we picked the one rainy day to have our groundbreaking, but it's still going to be a really neat ceremony, and it's exciting to kick this thing off. Some of us have been working, over a year on trying all the guts and the behind the scenes work. So now actually seeing some dirt moving and get this thing up out of the ground is exciting. Part of that ceremony tomorrow that the board will get to enjoy is a tour of the lead center. The steel is erected now. The walls are up. You can really see it come together. It's coming off the paper and into real life.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the remaining scopes of work for the ninth grade center not to exceed $25,832,973?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, comments, questions? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Now on to the Lead Center digital sign. Mr. Dobson, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. Continuing with some of the large bond projects, it was one of our big hopes is to update the digital sign that's out in front of the new Lead Center to a new fully transparent, fully more of a TV style, if you will, similar to what's on the football field here at Ray-Pec campus. So we are electing to go ahead and upgrade that using a similar vendor of which we've used throughout the district on all of our digital marquee signs to help with that consistency and programming of all those signs. With that, we are looking to approve AFCO for $38,105 for a dual-sided, fully transparent LED marquee sign up at the Lead Center. And that will take the place of the current just red sign. It'll be a little bit smaller, about 6 inches, if you will, but it's about a foot taller. So it
I
will
was gonna
read
say,
very
can you
nice.
take it up any?
Yep, it is going to be taller. Yes.
Good.
And it's fully, basically looks like a picture TV, if you will.
Scott, do we have, like, when you said the programming,
Mhm.
that's done in-house then after
That is.
for what we want to put on and everything?
That is correct. Yep, and we would be able, this one would be web-based, so we would be able to control this one, whether from the Lead Center, whether that's students, or from this campus, from students or staff.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve AFCO to supply the materials and labor for the installation and programming of the digital display at the Lead Center in the amount of $38,105?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion, comments, questions? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Now on to Peculiar Elementary rooftop unit.
Perfect. Back in January, you'll recall that we brought forth another bid from Lennox and some other contractors to perform all of the remodel work at Peculiar Elementary this coming summer. We did purposely leave off a little bit of pieces, a few pieces of equipment to that, as we were still sorting out exactly what those needed to be, but we needed to go ahead and get the bulk of the material ordered to try to eliminate any lead time issues for this summer. So this is now the follow-up to the remaining pieces that we need to finish up all that rooftop and unit change out at Peculiar Elementary this coming summer. This is utilizing the TIPS co-op as well, just like before.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the purchase of 23 adapter curbs, 1 new construction curb, and a 5-ton high-efficiency split system for Peculiar Elementary rooftop units in the amount of $35,601?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion, comments, questions? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Now on to the ninth grade center power line relocation.
Yes, circling back out to the ninth grade center. We are very excited to get dirt moving out there on that project this week, and everything is going very, very well. With that preparation for the roundabout work, we are going to need to relocate the power lines down 58 Highway, along with extend all the new power into the new construction and up 58 Highway for the new pump house that will be located to the west side of the facility, the west side of the property out there. So we're needing to extend those power lines and relocate those power lines. That work is sole sourced through Evergy. This is just a compensation reimbursement of what all their load studies are calculated, what their unreimbursable amount essentially would be, so therefore the cost of which they're going to charge for the project to perform this work.
Will we be out of power at all while they're relocating, or do we need to plan the timing?
Nope,
You-
the
not
plan
we,
is-
do you need to plan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The plan is right now we will have a small outage at the East Middle School that is scheduled to be night or weekend work already. Most likely that could take place over the summer anyway, and it won't be an issue. But it will just be for a few hours.
Does our electric company provider do anything with that? I mean, as far as helping out with the cost, or is that all on us?
No, it is a cost share. They do weigh the construction costs with the footage of line that has to be built, the quantity of poles that have to be erected, and then the tear down of everything, and then weigh that, of course, against our usage, if you will. And then there's a ratio and a formula that's brought into that. So this is not technically 100% of the cost, if you will.
So they were, I don't know, you probably don't know this, Scott, but if.
Yeah.
So they were gonna do the roundabout there, Ward Road, so they're probably gonna have to do that anyway?
That's correct. at Ward Road.
Right, but at some point, it's gotta connect all the way through. Did they say anything about that, or?
Nope. This actually, believe it or not, it's actually a different line that continues over onto Ward
Okay.
Road. The west side of our property is actually the differentiator between Belton and Lee Summit branch of KCP&L or Evergy.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, so yeah, but
Not there.
it wouldn't have caused any conflict.
Right.
Like MoDOT had to pay for that work to be redone there
Yeah.
at those intersections. We're having to pay for our work.
Okay.
Is there any way we can get Belton to pay for it?
I don't know.
All right, is there a motion to approve the proposal from Evergy for the relocation of power lines at the ninth grade center in the amount of $128,378.99?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Now on to the ninth grade center practice fields.
All right. Continuing to stay at the ninth grade facility, we are going to look at installing a new practice field that will be part of that campus for both middle school and the freshman center use. That is going to take the place of the current field that is semi-used there in front of the building. That's kind of called the well field, if you will. It's right in front of the facility. And then the small grass field that's off to the west side that's not used very much due to its safety concerns on it. This will be a new practice field that will be irrigated, 100% seeded, and then we're going to have about a year to go ahead and get this grown in and be perfect and ready for August of 23 for students for both, whether that's soccer, football, PE class, be very universal for all activities to that field. And it will be just kind of to the west of the drive road that's there currently, and then directly to the south of the ninth grade center, kind of in the middle.
Is that turf or is that grass?
This is going to be just regular grass. Yeah. The football field is getting the remodel this summer into the artificial turf that was already awarded
Are there
several
any
months
plans like for baseball?
ago. Not at this time. Those sports will still come down to the main campus and play, if I'm correct, I believe.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the bid for a grass practice field near the ninth grade center for Mid-America Sports Construction in the amount of $110,059.99 with a 5% contingency for any unforeseen construction issues?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussions, comments, questions? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for all
Perfect.
your
Thank
hard
you,
work
guys.
on that. Okay, on to committee reports. Well, Team Ray-Pec met the other day, and they got to hear that we had upped what we were putting onto the base, and they appreciated that, and all the other entities of their compensation. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that they talked about. Talked about legislation, and then they're starting to look at concerns for next year on the learning days of childcare and type things that we might be able to do to help assist those issues with them. All right, on to the superintendent's report.
Yes, Board, I have a few items for you tonight. First of all, as Dr. Pettengill said, groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the just to the west of the East Campus. We'll be there to groundbreak for the ninth grade center. So if you're able to be there tomorrow, it'd be great. We are, like Dr. Pettengill said, we'll have a tent, closed tent, to make sure that we are as dry as possible. And the whole ceremony will take about 30 minutes. After which, on your schedule, we will be headed to the Lead Center for those that would like an interior tour of the Lead Center. I believe the last time you were in the Lead Center, you were putting holes on the wall, getting ready for some construction. Well, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised about how much construction has occurred since then. I just please ask you to remember to bring your safety gear that was distributed to you at the time, hard hat, the vest, and gloves will be needed for the tour of that event. So if you have any questions about that, see me afterwards, and we'll make sure we get you hooked up. The administrative staff today sat and observed a presentation on MSIP 6, which, as you recall, is about ready to embark into full-fledged implementation across the state. We'll have more information for you over the course of the next several months as that gets implemented and gets ready to go for the next school year. We are still in the early stages of our understanding and learning and how pieces fit together. There are several informational sessions, webinars planned over the course of the next several months, and we'll make sure that we are on top of everything that we need to be doing to position ourselves favorably into MSIP 6, which is the state accreditation model that Missouri uses. We continue to have really good numbers in our COVID experience. Numbers are way down. We have looking at some changes to protocols for fourth quarter that will be communicated to you as far as what our committee is looking at as far as getting parents back in the building for some things that they have traditionally enjoyed being a part of. We will have that for you tomorrow on the update. Additionally, as far as my communication to you, I'm proposing that if you're okay, that I'll do a weekly summary as opposed to my daily texts that sometimes come to you. I'm sure, I know you love hearing from me, but if that's one thing you can cut out of the to-do list, that would be great. But I'll have a weekly summary. If we see some things that are going in the wrong direction, we'll reach out, make sure you know about that. But for the most part, we are going to hope that our current experience will continue with what we're seeing, with the great experiences that we're seeing district-wide. I also want to let you know, I'm embarking on a partnership with the Hickman Mills School District. We are going to be trading some time. The superintendent and I will be visiting classrooms there at Hickman Mills, seeing how they do things. Dr. Yao's coming here to do the same here in Ray-Pec. And a kind of a unique collaboration, unique learning sessions between the Hickman Mills District and the Ray-Pec School District. I know they're probably doing some great things that we'll want to learn from and steal. I'm sure that we'd like to show off some things here that we're doing as well. So we started this, and I'm real excited about venturing out and seeing how some other districts do some things. So just want to let you know about that. Next week during spring break, I will be attending the Missouri Association of School Administrators Conference, or MASSA, spring conference on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and looking forward to learning and spending some time with colleagues from across the state. Happy to answer any questions if you have anything for me.
With the partnership, was that, how did we pick Hickman Mills, or how did you pick, just with a relationship with us?
Yeah, just a growing relationship between Dr. Yao and myself, and just thinking about some things of stretching ourselves to think about education in a different way. And so I want to see what they're doing. He wants to see what we're doing. And by no means is it going to be limited to Hickman Mills, but that was the first one out of the gate to talk about how we could go about learning from each other.
I think it's very intriguing. I think it'd be great.
Thank you.
All right, on to calendar I'm sorry, I skipped Board of Education comments.
I just want to say, I know I haven't built a 9th grade center before. It's in my spare time, so I know that it's a lot of work. And so falling out of my chair on video, it'll be great. I can't see you around the computer, so I just wanted to look at you in the eyes and say thank you for all of that work. I appreciate it, and it's going to be really exciting. We drive by the East Middle School and saw all the equipment, and it'll be great.
There will be a bunch of us going to St. Louis tomorrow for our Special Olympics state basketball. So good luck to all those teams, coaches, families, parents, all those good. Hopefully we'll bring some gold medals home.
It's nice to see them getting back to that. I know they missed it when they couldn't do it.
Have we had any follow-up on Senate bill, was it 649, the sales tax?
Yes.
Where's that at?
So it still is waiting its third reading on the Senate side, and so the third reading would require the final vote before it goes over the House. The legislature is on spring break this week, so there's been no movement whatsoever. Most analysts feel that there'll be a flurry of activity once they come back to pass some of that legislation. I don't know if 649 will eventually make it across the finish line, but right now there's no change from where we were at a couple weeks ago when I talked to you about it.
And they still have to do budget, and I think one of the biggest concerns is them creating an omnibus bill at the end here and just throwing all of this together, and they really won't even know what they're voting on by that point.
And people watching, that's the personal property tax elimination bill, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And that is one that we have submitted a fiscal note testimony on, as well as several other districts in the 7 counties that are impacted by that.
I was able to go to Legislative Forum last week and met with, along with a board member from Belton and one from Harrisonville, and we met with several of our legislators and some that weren't ours, and talked about some of these issues with them last week. So,
Keep an eye on that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
all right, if there's nothing else, on to calendar of events. April 18th will be our reorganization meeting after the elections, and then April 21st will be our regular board meeting, 6 p.m. closed, 7 p.m. open. And that reminds me that, yes, we have an election day coming up, so make sure we go vote. And then